Hey everybody, this is Bruce.
And this is me, Yuri.
And today's topic is going to be a discussion about K-1 visas, green card, adjustment of status. And remember, this is just a conversation. We do this about weekly. We do it on Facebook. We do it on YouTube. And this is just for us to facilitate a conversation for all of us. For all of us to get through this process. That's what this is all about. It's the name of the game. That being said, we are not lawyers. We're not authorized consultants. Everything that we say is our opinion. It's what we went through, and that's what we relay. We just say what we would do in that situation. But that being said, you shouldn't take that as any kind of legal advice. If you need a lawyer, you should definitely get a lawyer. We're not telling you not to get one. And this is your life. You should take full responsibility for what you're about to do for the K-1 visa process. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into this. Let's see who we've got in here. Actually, scratch that. First things first, I wanna say that tell you guys that this video, what we do weekly, is brought to you by people who actually support us. It's really amazing to be a part of this community on YouTube, on Facebook, who's been supporting us and want us to continue this kind of content, relationship content, K-1 visa content. People like, and I'll just go ahead and name some of our Patreons, some of our Super Chatters, some of our people who have been donating to us. HT Logistics, who's actually our moderator for this particular episode. We got T. Elliott, Instigator, Jamal Waring, Dan the Driving Man, Eric Sadler, Kingpin, Emilio A., Daryl Charity. You can see all their names floating above here. These are people who keep this thing going. Tim H., Sci-Fi George, Daryl Charity, Michael Angelo, David Thomas, Benjamin K., Arch Place, Arthur Carlson, Jay Barnes, Lena's World, William G., Credell 10, Legs Diamond, IQ Patch, Amoris Del Caribe, Paul W., and Lucas Rasmussen. So as you can see, we have a lot of people supporting us. It's really been a blessing to have such a supportive community. This episode is brought to you by those guys right there. All right, so let's see who we've got on here.
So is Lena's World really coming to Colorado?
Maybe, I don't know. Lena's World, are you really coming to Colorado? Let's see.
We want to meet you guys.
HT Logistics is here, moderating. Don't get out of hand or he's going to boot you out. We've got Mark Ramsey. We've got Gio. We've got Frank Sierra. We've got Andy. Hey, Andy, how you doing, man? Always great to see you. Lena's World. We've got Lavelle. Hey, Lavelle Brasher, sorry. And IQ Patch. And a few others on Facebook. We can't see your names, but we see you guys out there. See that there's 17 people watching, which is great.
Is this from Visa Approved?
Yeah, it's on Visa Approved.
Oh, okay.
We're going to try to invite people in and ask specific questions and try to focus in on just one topic, or just introduce them and ask them to tell us their timeline and things like that. And that's what our focus is going to be. K-1 visas, green card. We're not going to vary from that. We're going to vary from it as little as possible, I should say. But any questions that you have about the K-1 visa process, any comments that you have to help other people out, this is a great opportunity to share that information. I've got Steve who wants to join us on a call. Let me see if I can set that up real quick. Give me a second to do that while Yuri is talking to people. Anybody saying anything here, babe? You can read that while I'm setting up this live with Steve. Baby, do you hear me?
Which one are you?
Never mind. All right, Steve. I'm going to send you this link. It is a Google Hangouts. This is me coming from my Bruce Brown account. If you're still out there, if you're watching, this is coming your way. Feel free to join us.
Did you respond to Eric and Lalaine? I'm going to respond to them later.
Okay, yeah.
Because...
Okay, let me see. Let's read some comments, see if we can focus on K1 here. We've got see. Hello from South Carolina. Hey, George, how you doing?
We need a diva ring or something.
We've got Gio says
It's
10 more
both.
days till I go to Singapore.
Dead.
Congrats on that.
Who? Geo.
Geography.
Where?
Let me see. Linda's World says 15 days to go till K1 visa interview. Good luck to you.
Congrats.
Steve from
I'm
Linda's
sure
World.
You're gonna get it.
Let me see. I will always support you guys. Thanks, man. Really appreciate you. We're gonna support you back, man. Appreciate you. I'm not seeing any questions on K1 yet. We're coming to Colorado. Lena wants to do a summer trip. Okay, yes, let us know. Frank says, my fiance just approved her visa. Just got her visa approved. Oh, that's great. Congrats, Frank Sierra. Let's see. Who else do we have here? We've got...
Hi, Andy.
Oh, which Steve? Oh, there's another Steve. There's actually a Steve here in Colorado. He's supposed to call in a few minutes.
It's in Colorado?
Hold on. Little test.
Which Steve?
I'm not sure you know him, baby. Him and I talk sometimes. Hey, there he is. Okay.
Hi.
Hey, Bruce. Hi, Yuri.
Hey, Steve. Okay, let me set this up here. I hear you loud and clear, by the way. I'm going to put you here on our live. I hope you don't mind.
No, sir.
Being advertised to the world. All right. So, Steve, you have just gone through this process. This is a great opportunity because I want to ask you about your process. I want to ask you about your timeline and what actual. First of all, introduce yourself.
Well, actually, we're still going through the process right now. We are 172 days active, waiting on NOAA 2. We are October filers, and I believe the way my fiance is subscribed to Visa Approved, she's also subscribed to Visa Journey, and she's been taking some of the data from there and showing the different, I think for the month of October, there was like 3,397 cases just for the month of October that people have filed their applications. And it breaks it down per day on what's going on there. For the day that we filed, October the 25th, there's 97 cases for that day. We had 3 of them that we saw were approved for October 23rd, and so we're thinking that maybe this week we should receive our NOAA 2, but of course, God willing.
Okay, well that's good. You know, in that way too. For some reason, Steve has been really taking a long time. We don't know why that is. We don't know what's going on. But it used to be a lot shorter. Yeah. So like, there's another Steve from Lena's World, YouTuber.
So
he also
we can't hear him.
Yeah. So in order for you guys on Facebook to join in on our conversation, you have to join us on YouTube, and I apologize for that. It's just the way that YouTube and Facebook has split things up. Okay. So there's another Steve from Lena's World. His future wife is from the Dominican Republic, and they took, Steve, how long did it take for you guys to get your NOA 2? I want to say it was about 5 months. He'll answer back on that, but he's on. It's really been taking a long time, and but it has been working. It's working. It's just really, it's kind of the longest pole in the tent kind of thing. Is there any issues so far that you guys are dealing? Any questions that we can ask the group, or you guys pretty much?
I mean, as far as we're doing pretty good.
Right.
We're actually with Enhanced Visa. That's the agency that we've employed to help us with our case. This is actually my second go around. I've actually had a Filipino wife before, and actually did it by myself.
Yeah.
I didn't hire a lawyer or anything, and I just filled out the paperwork, and it took, we were already married, and so I actually applied for a K3 visa, spousal visa, and it took about 12 months
Okay.
altogether before I was able to bring her to the United States.
Oh, okay.
So
I've got some questions about the K3 then later on. But
yes, sir.
So is there? Would you say that the K3 is smoother than the K1?
I think the K1 is a little bit smoother. The K3, the biggest thing for I think everyone is the big waiting period. It took us a little bit longer with the K3 to get the NOAA 1 than the K1. I mean, the K1 you received within like a week.
Hi.
Right.
And then after that, it's the waiting period to get the NOAA 2 that gets everybody on
We're
end.
in Colorado.
Yes. Yeah. It's really been taking a long time.
Okay.
Let me see if there's somebody else responded here. Andy says, "White Steve." We have a white Steve and a black Steve. All right, so I'm sure we have every shade of Steve here because Steve is such a common name. But Andy says,
sir.
"Steve, do you feel ready to bring your girl over, knowing the culture shock she'll experience wherever she's from, different from Colorado?"
I think so. I mean, yes, of course, it's going to be a huge culture shock coming here. You know, the weather, for one, is so much different. You know, she's ready to experience the snow. That's one of the things she wants to experience is the snow. I'm actually here in West Texas. I'm probably about a 10-hour drive from Colorado, right up in the Panhandle. In Lubbock, Texas, and so we don't get a whole lot of snow, but sometimes we do. It just depends on Mother Nature, I guess.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know, it's the thing here in West Texas that's going to be the biggest shock for her is that, you know, there's so many beautiful beaches in the Philippines, and for her to come here where I live, there's no water at all. There's just swimming pools at the apartment complexes here in town. I mean, there's a lake nearby, but that's about it. I mean, you'd have to drive a good 8 or 10 hours to get to a beach.
Wow. Oh, okay, so my question is, I've been wondering this one. Now, since you're a multi-filer, like you've already done this before, did that cause any problems for you?
I thought it was. That's the whole reason why we employed the enhanced visa agency to help us, because I was afraid that with me already filing before that it might cause problems.
Okay.
The only thing that the agency said is as long as I am free to marry again, that should not cause any problems. Okay. So I submitted my divorce contracts, decrees from previous marriages, and all the paperwork was submitted.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let me see. We've got some folks in the troll box talking here. Let's see. We've got... okay, Steve from Linda's World says it took 192 days to get the NOA 2. Let me see. HT says, okay, he's talking to people here.
Roy Watkins. Hi, Bruce and Yuri. Greetings from Las Vegas. Hi, Roy.
Hey, how you doing, Roy?
And then on this side of Facebook, Nenita, watching here in Zamboanga City. Hi, sis.
Okay, I just messed this up. I think I just canceled it. Okay, we'll just start it over again. All right, trying to go through Facebook and YouTube here, but we'll just keep going. Let's see.
No problem.
If there's other questions or comments. Let's see. BK says, if I hear how long it takes, it it's better to keep her in the Philippines than because my goals is to move there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lena's World says you can track it on Visa Journey, in which Steve says his fiance is doing. When your date will come up, and also download the app from USCIS is the fastest notification. Okay.
Yeah, I've got the app downloaded and I check it like 3 or 4 times a day.
Let's see.
Simplify, come to Minnesota. We just slammed with more snow.
We just got slammed with snow. No April showers this year. Man, Minnesota's cold. Minnesota is super cold. I apologize for the people on Facebook. I just accidentally canceled the live.
Yeah, sorry about
that. But what we're doing here, if you're late to the call, is that we're having a conversation about K1 visas, green card. We've got Steve here on YouTube. If you want to participate, if you want to hear what Steve has to say and see Steve and us talking back and forth, you want to join in, then you can join us on our YouTube channel, which is Yuri Bruce on YouTube. All right, so we've got some other questions here. Okay, now it's flowing in. Do you see any K1 visa questions here or anything?
I asked, if you don't marry a woman after 90 days on a K1 visa, will she automatically be deported?
No.
No. But that's the condition, is that you have to get married for 90 days.
Right. It's not like the Border Patrol police going to knock on your door and be like, hey, you didn't file this document. No, it's not like that. We know people that, one of Yuri's good friends, who's actually in Texas, by the way, she waited, they got here legally, with the K1 visa and all that stuff. They got married, they did the adjustments. Well, they waited a year to do the adjustment of status, and nobody knocked on the door. They didn't get in trouble. I don't recommend that you wait that long, but you have time after you get married. The thing you gotta do is just go ahead and get married within the 90-day period. I wouldn't mess around with that, but after you're married, you've got time to go ahead and file the adjustment status. You know what? I confused this Steve with the Steve that's local, a different Steve.
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, and he actually has the same haircut and everything too. So
Nella, hello, Yuri and Bruce, watching from Iowa.
Hey,
hi.
How you doing from Iowa? Okay, I got another question for Steve. How is enhanced visa? I've heard of Rapid Visa, Visa Coach, and now this is the first time I've heard of enhanced visa. What's your opinion of it so far?
They're really good. You send them all your documentation. They will look over everything. They will type it up and make sure it's all good to go. And then they just send you your packet all ready to go with your money order, and then or you have your money order or check, and then you just send it directly to the lockbox that is for your state.
Oh, so they actually type everything out for you. They have to. Now, and then they send it to you to send the package once they're done with it.
Correct.
And then they make sure that you have all of your required supporting documents and everything. And then you send all that. Okay, all right, that's pretty cool.
So we're in the California Service Center.
Gotcha.
Tommy said, wouldn't it be faster to do the visas in home country? I know when I got married, my ex-wife in Korea, it only took 6 months to get married and visas done. But we married in the U.S. Embassy.
Depends on what kind of visa you're getting and when you filed, because I know that back in the day it was a lot faster. Lately it's been taking a longer time, and Steve and Yuri and I actually did something called K1 visa, which requires you to come to the United States and get married in the United States.
Yeah, back in the day, there wasn't that many people were filing for marriage and K1 visa. So I think before they were not overworked, But now they have so many applications that it took longer.
A lot. So just in the month of October 2017, over 3,000, as a matter of fact, just for Philippines. So Quite a bit.
That's just for Philippines?
1 month in the Philippines alone. Right? Is that just the Philippines? Or it might not. I'm not sure if that's just the Philippines or not, but
well, yeah. I'm not sure exactly if that's just applications. I'm not sure if they're all from the Philippines.
okay.
Just those who filed on the dates in October.
Gotcha.
Yeah. March.
And then something else that I think that I've been told that is slowing down the process is the simple fact that there ever since Trump took office, there is, I think, 1.25 million illegal immigrants here from Mexico and other countries, and they're trying to get their papers in order. And so that's the reason why the USCIS government is backlogged, because they're trying to get them legal. And so that's the reason why it pushed out, because the original time frame was 4 to 6 months, and now it's 5 to 7 months. So
I've heard different things. I've heard it's because the budget cuts to the Department of
Homeland Security.
I don't know if they had budget cuts to Homeland Security, but for sure they did with the State Department. So USCIS is actually under the Department of Homeland Security. So I don't know why that would make any sense. And I've heard the extreme vetting thing. I don't know. I've heard different things. I don't know what's true or not. I just know that it took us 4 months total to get through it, and now it's taken up to 8 months or something like that.
Here in this March, watching from Iowa here to too cold still. Here it's already summer.
And again, guys, if you guys over on Facebook want to join us, if you want to hear what Steve has to say, because you can't hear us, we're listening to him right here talking back and forth, you can join us on YouTube. Or if you have any questions, we'll address it here with everyone. And this is a great opportunity because all of us are going through this process, so the collective knowledge and information from all of us is actually very helpful. We're not lawyers, we're just normal people going through the process just like you guys. So
Russell Kezagan. Hello, Sis Yuri and Bruce. And to your hubby from NC here. My regards. Hi, Russell. What's NC?
North Carolina.
Oh.
Roy says, I got my NOA 1 in December 11 and still waiting for
Thank you, sis.
NOA 2. Yeah, NOA 2, Roy, is going to take a while. Let me see. Got another.
Yep. Next week we'll be at 6 months.
Wow.
So
that is crazy. I can't believe how long it takes now. I had one comment in it. Oh, okay. Lena's World says at Andy, he says CR1, I'm told, is taking 12 to 14 months. Whoa. 14 months. Whoa.
That's
Andy
crazy.
says K1 takes 7 months. Wow, that's what about the CR1? 8 months. Nah, it looks like it's taking a little longer than 8 months now.
Well,
from what we've heard.
The
Before it was
CR1
8
timeline
months.
is like 10
Yeah, before
months,
it was 8,
1
9
year,
months.
about almost 1 year.
Yeah.
It's been long. The timeline of CR1 is longer.
Right, but the difference is that if you do CR1, by the time your fiance gets to the United States, they start processing the green card immediately, which is different from the K1. Like K1, you go through X amount of months, then when you get here, that's X amount more months, like a long time to get the green card. So, okay, we've got something here on Facebook for Monet Cord, who says, my fiance is about to go here this May 31, and I'm wondering when my fiance goes here in the USA, will he be able to drive and work when he gets here? I appreciate you guys. So
you need to get married first and then apply for adjustment of status so that your fiance, your soon-to-be spouse, can get a green card. And then in between, you also have to apply for employment and employment card, and they will send it within 2 to 3 months after your application. and then that's the only time that he can actually work.
Yeah, so and just to kind of tell you step by step. Number one, your fiance gets here, you guys get married, right? Next step is going to be to do something called adjustment of status, which is, what form is that? I-485. I-485 adjustment of status. It's going to adjust their status from being a non-immigrant temporary status just to come into the country to an immigrant. And once you sign all the paperwork and send it in with the supporting documents, you're going to apply. You're basically applying for a green card. The green card takes anywhere from 4 months to a year to get, or even longer. So in between that time, like Yuri was saying, you'll get something called a combo card, and that combo card comes within 2 months, and he'll be able to work with that. He'll be able to legally get a job with that. So, all right, let's see. We're going back to YouTube. Who else do we have here?
I had a question, Bruce.
Yeah.
On the new CR1, have they updated that? Like, whenever they get here, do they automatically get a 10-year green card, or is it still the same as before, where they'll get their probationary 2-year card, and then before the 2 years is up, you've got 3 months to file for your permanent residency 10 years?
It's the same. They get the 2-year green card after arriving in the United States.
Yep. That's
okay.
One of the great things, because it took, like here in Colorado, Yuri's to get the green card took over a year.
1 year.
Yeah, so if you're going for the green card, it's actually way quicker. Even though CR1 process takes longer, by the time you get here, you're already about to get. Work. They just issue you the green card. So, but here we had to apply for it, and that took another year. So 2 years total to get that green card.
Yeah, I brought my ex here in April 2011, and then by June she was already working.
Yeah, there you go. So Monet, just to give you an idea, I know you could hear Steve, but he said that his ex was Filipina. She came here like 2011, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
2011, yes, sir. And when she got here, within how many months?
2 months.
Within 2 months, she was already working because she had they got the EAD card, right?
Yeah, the green card, the 2-year.
Oh, green card. Okay.
Probationary.
Yeah, the 2-year conditional green card. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, you have no worries about that. So either he'll get the green card really quickly, but it depends on the state. How fast you get the green card really depends on the state. But in between time, you'll get what's called an EAD, like a red EAD card, which allows you to work. So. And let me see here. We've got Maria Barnes. It says, Maria Barnes, that's Jay Barnes's. It says, is the interview of K1 visa the same in any country you apply in? It's actually different per person. I think the criteria that they look at, Maria, is the same. Like, they still want to know that you guys have a legitimate relationship, like, meaning you weren't, if you had your divorce decrees in there and all that kind of stuff. They want to make sure that your U.S. petitioner makes an above the poverty line. They're still going to look at the same criteria, but as far as how deep is it, how critical they are, and all that stuff, that's really dependent on the actual CO, the consular officer that you talk to, but the criteria is supposed to be the same that they look at, right? Her question was right here. The interview, is the interview the same from country to country?
In the country, but yes, it's the same.
Let me see. What other questions do we have here? Somebody asked, Frank, when did you receive your paperwork? Okay, they're talking to one another here. Let's see. Okay, we got another one over here on Facebook, and it says from Kobe Ross. It says, I've sent everything to the NBC, and they said everything is cool. We're transferring the case to the embassy. How long approximately does it take to get an interview letter? We're 3 weeks on the dark. All right, so I'm assuming, Kobe, you're on a K1 visa. I'm assuming you're on a K1 visa, and you've got approved from USCIS, and now they've sent their stuff over to the NVC. So correct me if I'm wrong, because it's a little bit different from CR1 NVC, and K1 NVC is really different.
Yes.
So I don't want to give you wrong information. So let us know which one.
NVC. They said everything cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar question on that.
Okay.
How they stated that it takes up to 3 weeks once you get your NOAA 2 for the embassy to receive your case from the California Service Center. So when approximately would you be able to go ahead and make your appointment for your medical and pay the $265 for the visa interview?
Okay, let's kill two birds with one stone, because Kobe, you're saying
CR1.
CR1. Okay, well, actually, we'll ask everybody that one, because I don't know the CR1 process, but somebody in this group just might. So if you've gone through the CR1 process, here's my question to you. Approximately how long does it take to get an interview letter? So Kobe Ross says they've already submitted all the documentation for CR1 to the NVC, and now they want to know, okay, now when do we get our interview letter? Now, Kobe, if you didn't know, there's a way that you can check this out yourself that gives you kind of a moving average of how long it's been taking. If you go to Visa Journey, we have no affiliation with the site, we just like it. Go to Visa Journey, and they have a timeline page. Check out the timeline page, and it'll tell you approximately when other people have gotten their interview letters. But also, I'm posing that question to all you guys, if you know it. How long does it take to get that interview letter if you're doing CR1? But to answer your question, Steve, so your question was, once you get approved, you get the NOA 2 approval, and they're sending the package to the NVC, right? That's what your question is? And then what do you do after that?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering how long it takes before I can actually go online and book her medical date, her appointment, and her interview.
So once your case gets approved and you get the NOA 2 approval notice, it is transferred to NVC to get your case number, and then the NVC will give you the case number, and then she can go ahead and do the DS-160 and do the medical and book for the interview appointment.
Right, and just to add to what Yuri is saying is, as soon as you get approved, as soon as you get that approval letter, she should start what's called the DS-160. And you should probably do the DS-160 before you apply for the medical.
Okay.
So it kind of depends on you. Like, it depends on how quick. And right now, what she can be doing, what we encourage people to do all the time, is actually start to get prepared now. Like, make sure that her passport is updated. Make sure she starts gathering like passport style photos. She needs like how many? Four passport style photos. Make sure she has her NBI, which is a police clearance, and if she's been to other countries, make sure she has the police clearance from those other countries. That's all stuff you can start doing now. Birth certificate, all that kind of stuff.
Marriage certificate.
Right. So that way, as soon as you get a
certificate of no marriage.
There you go, Sinomar. So as soon as you get the approval, boom, she starts the DS-160, which is like how many question form? Like 100 question.
It takes like about a day or two to finish it.
And then you can go ahead and start getting her ready for the medical, because the medical and the interview can happen very fast. So you want to definitely make sure you have all that stuff ready. Because if you're not ready, you don't have your another thing you do is called the I-134, which is a affidavit of support. That's something you have to do. Yep, that's something you already know that,
yes,
right?
Sir.
So that's something you have to do. You fill it out.
I did it before.
Gotcha. Okay, so you send that to her. That was something that I messed up on. Like, I didn't do that, and Yuri like emailed me. I was just going through my old emails yesterday, and you were like, "Hey, I need this form." I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is affidavit of support." I'm like, "What is that?" And then she sent it to me. I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I started filling it out, and had to sign it and send it to her and all that stuff. It was a rush. So, yeah, but it really depends on you. Let me see what other questions we got here. Angel Guillermo says, I'm sort of minimal financial requirement by 1,000, 2,000. Is that what it's saying? Short. Yeah, I'm short on financial requirement, $1,000, $2,000. Is that a deal breaker for the CR1? So that's a question I posed to all you CR1 people.
We know that with a K1 visa, you have to send for I-134, and you have to prove that you make more than 100%. 100% above the yearly
line.
set poverty guidelines, right. And it changes every year.
And actually, for Angel, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but with CR1, don't you have to do what's called the I-864? Which is also an affidavit of support, but you have to make 125% over there. Oh, looks like we got a donation. Thanks, Instigator.
Thank you, Instigator.
Let me see. So yeah, question to all you guys. What is the minimum for a CR1 applicant? How much do they have to make above the poverty line or at the poverty line? And
I think it's the same measurement. Because in the website, they have a... Yeah, what's the percentage for CR1? Is it 100%?
Or is it 125?
Or 125?
Because there's two different affidavits of support. For CR1, we are not sure if you do the I-134 or the I-864. So, let me see. But we'll sort that one out for you.
And I had a question to piggyback on that.
Okay.
If you filed your paperwork with the NVC and all that in 2017, are you going to go by those guidelines, or do you go by the new guidelines of 2018 that they just released?
New one.
I would go by the new one.
Because they always update it yearly and change it.
Well, in the year that you're filing, shouldn't it be the year that you're filing, though? I know what I would do. I would go by the most current.
Because they increased it from 2017 to 2018 as far as how much you need to actually make more money in 2018 than you did in 2017.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
so that could affect some people.
You're true. Yeah,
true. I'm assuming that when the consular officer... When they do the interview, they look at the most recent
one. They're not going to go when you file. Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, we don't know for sure, but we think that you should probably... Because if you file in 2017 and your fiance
interview is middle 2018,
then they're probably going to be looking at the 2018 one. And it's only 100%. Okay, we've got an answer for the CR1 question, one of the CR1 questions. Big O Experience says CR1, the petitioner must make more than 125% of the poverty line. So at or more than the 125% poverty guideline.
It's got to be at 125%.
Or more.
Or more.
Mm-hmm. And he
says... if it's less than that, then you need a co-sponsor. It's the same as the...
Similar, right. So to answer your question, let me see if I'm answering that question properly here.
So for the CR1...
So the question
is,
are they strict? And I would say yes. I would say they are strict, Angel. Guillermo,
what you can do is get a co-sponsor or save about $2-3 that way.
Put it in the bank and just leave it there.
Yes, because that counts as your income.
Right. But what I would do if I were you, your best course of action, if you can, is to get a co-sponsor. Because I know we filed the I-864 affidavit of support. You have to do that with the adjustment of status for the K1. So we're actually familiar with both of those forms. So when we file that form out, it actually allows you to do the co-sponsor, and you can add the money from that your fiance or your wife makes, and you can add your money, and if you have a co-sponsor, you can add that. Only thing is, when you add the co-sponsor, you have to add their W-2 and tax documentation to prove that they make that money. And you can put assets. You have a house, you can put that. You have personal assets, you can put that stuff. So you might be closer. If it's only 1,000, I think that you probably could milk it to get to, because if you own a house, that might be able to help you out. If you have
not the house, but the savings.
If you have savings, if you have a CD,
money, like
if you have a
income.
term life insurance, if you have bonds, if you have stocks, like there's so many different things you can add to the I-864. So you should be able to make it, I think, man. Even if you don't have all that stuff, you can get a co-sponsor.
Yeah, maybe you can ask your parent to help you.
Yep, or even a friend. I believe it doesn't have to be a relative.
Yeah, even if a friend or a brother or sister.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. We really appreciate your channel. It's amazing and super helpful.
Thanks, Big O Experience, for
welcome,
that
Kobe.
information. Appreciate that. We got another donation, Canadian $10.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Gio. We appreciate it.
Let me see. Google says Markel TV. Hey, Markel, how you doing? He says 125%. Yeah, I would say so.
You fam. Hey, Bruce and Yuri. I made about...
Should I take that music out?
I like that music. And
okay, go ahead.
You fam said, Yuri, I made about 55K and I will have 7K in the bank by July. Will I be okay when I do my affidavit? Since I don't own a house or property, you don't have to own anything. What they want to know is if you can support your fiance or your wife.
Yeah.
And yeah, that amount is okay. That's way beyond the poverty.
Let's get a definitive answer for you. How many people are in your household? So the way the poverty guideline works.
Let's show it.
Yeah, we're gonna show you real quick.
Explain it further.
We're gonna switch screens real quick here. And if you guys didn't know, you can. We do these weekly. We also do other information, so you can go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification if you want to join us, if you want to pop in on us and have the conversations like this one. But let me go ahead and show you our screen here. I'm gonna minimize Steven real quick. We're going to go to the poverty guideline. Poverty guideline. Poverty, here it is right here. This is for 2017 though. We need 2018. Poverty. Okay, let me switch this back real quick. Poverty guideline 2018. Alright. We're going to walk you through how you can determine this for yourself. Okay, let me go here. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you, Amber, for subscribing.
Okay, so here we are on the poverty guideline. Hope you can see that. But it says 2018 poverty guideline for the 48 contiguous states and District of Columbia.
This is 100%, right?
This is 100%. So for one person, go ahead, Steve.
Isn't that just for U.S. military? That's why it moves over to 125% for everybody else.
Yep.
If you read that form correctly.
Well, no. So the I-134 is 100%.
That's the 100%.
Yeah, it's 100%. So this right here is 100%. I know what you're talking about. There's another guide, I think, for military. Let me make sure I'm not on the wrong one here. But this is for anybody who's filing the I-134, 100% of the poverty guideline. So if you have two people, let's say it's you and your child, you have to. The poverty guideline is $16,000.
Okay.
Dollars.
This one, Angel said they want me to earn 32K because we have a child together, but I might make slightly less. Let's compute it.
Okay.
for 3 people.
Okay, he's got 3 people.
125%.
And this is 100%. So,
yeah, so
125% should be 26,000.
Then that means here, okay,
right.
Angel, you're
so,
making enough.
Yeah, so if you let's calculate it.
What's the 25% of 20,000?
20.
Yeah, that means your income is actually good.
Yeah, it should be good. So
if it's 125%, we're looking on the updated 2018 poverty guideline, and it says that your income is higher than what they have.
Let me just doing some little math here. Should
what
be.
They have calculated.
Yeah, so that's the amount
you.
right there. That's 125%.
How many
the poverty
kids do
guideline
you have?
with 3. That's with 3 people. And so for the other person who asked, let me post that link in the troll box.
Family of 4.
Oh, family of 4. Okay. That's just a little bit more. So here's a family of 4. Just $25,100, and so we're gonna say, put this in there. So it's $25,100 times 1.25. So 100% plus 25, and that gives us 31,000.
Yeah, you're still good. If
31,000.
They want me to earn 32, so it says 31,375.
Right. There you go. What was the other person who said that they made 55,000? They were asking if that's enough.
And if you're a little slightly short than that amount, save money aside. Yeah. Save about
save the
3
difference.
grand. Yeah, the difference, and maybe a little over the difference.
Right.
That way, when you go to the interview and say, hey, yeah, this is how much I make, but I have 3 grand in the bank.
Right. That's what we would recommend. Any comments on that one, Steve?
Oh, how do you...
Oh, I'm not sure what happened with that.
What if the kids that you have don't live with you?
That's a good question.
If they're in your tax, I think they're counted as your dependent. Right?
Yeah,
they weren't on my taxes. My ex-wife is the one who claimed the 2 kids.
That's how I would work it.
That means they're not your dependent.
Right. I would work it by household, just like you do your taxes. Like if they're not... So what they're trying to determine... And this is... Okay, guys. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not
Disclaimer!
a lawyer. I'm not a... nothing.
This is just not lawyers.
This is just my opinion. But the way that they're looking at it seems to be like your taxes. Like they want to know how many people in your household that you take care of. Or even if they're not in your household, but you still like fully fund them. That and it's on your taxes, then that that
but
could.
If they don't live with you, then you can say, "Oh no."
I mean that's what I would do.
They're not part of your household.
And you just if it comes up,
so it would just be me and my fiance.
Yeah, if they're not on your household income, like if your taxes even reflect that, that's even more evidence that that that's the case. So that's what I would say.
Okay, awesome.
Again, that's just my opinion.
Because in your fiance's interview, they will ask, does your fiance have kids? Yes. Do they live with your fiance?
Yeah, they ask those questions.
Yeah, because I was asked those questions.
And then what they're trying to do is determine what's your household size. They're like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They're trying to see, okay, do you even know this guy has kids? If you have a relationship, you should know they have kids. You should know the names, how many kids they have, if they're staying with you, all that kind of. And they're also determining, okay, this guy makes $32,000 a year. He says he has 4 kids. That's not quite enough money for him to, how are you supposed to live on this? So that they're kind of asking all those questions to piece together a rough sketch of what your financial situation and relationship situation is going to be like. And the reason they do that is for the sake of the foreign fiance, because they don't want them to get here and then be a public charge of the state and not have no resources to take care of themselves. 9 times out of 10, immigrants are so resourceful, they're gonna find work, but they just want to make absolutely sure that they're taken care of when they get here. So,
of course,
which makes sense to me. Let's see. Big O Experience says, I would say that if you pay child support it would count as a hit on your household income. Just my opinion. Perhaps.
Yeah, you can also. Yeah, but
I mean, I would do it just like taxes.
So in the I-129F before, like they would no in I-134, there's a section if your kids, if you're fully taking care of your kids, then they are part of your household.
Yeah, it asks, okay, do you have kids? You list them, right? And it says, are you fully taking care of them? Are you partially taking care of them?
Yeah.
Or, and then you have to answer that. So I don't know how they factor that in, but if they're not living with you, how's that part of, if somebody else is completely taking care of them, then how is that part of your household size? But could be wrong. Let me see, what other questions do we have here? Or comments?
I kind of had a question for Yuri. As far as the interview goes, there's been a lot of talk on the visa approved group and stuff about how some of the consular interviewers are more strict than others. Is that true? Because, depending on who you get as an interviewer, they will say yes or no, you will get approved or you won't. Are some like that, or they're supposed to be, straight down the middle, fair?
Some are, and yeah, one of my my consular officer had like a bunch of questions for me. So I was so thankful that I practiced for 2 weeks for the 100 possible questions, because especially if there's kids involved, the consular officer was asking me about the kids, what's the setup, where will they live, are they gonna live with us when I arrive in the US, but if the guy is single, there's not that many questions.
And so for those of you who are on Facebook who didn't hear the question that Steve asked, he asked, how are the consular officers? Are some harder than others? Because he was kind of concerned about his fiance going there and then having somebody who's like super hard on her rather than somebody's lighter. And I would definitely piggyback on and agree with what Yuri just said, because we've heard of the foreign fiance going into the interview and it lasted literally like 5 minutes. What's your name? My name is Annabelle. Approved.
Bam! Congrats.
Boom. Whereas Yuri's took like how many hours?
It took like maybe 20
And they asked how
minutes.
many questions? Approximately like 20, 30 questions?
20, 30 questions. It
like,
was a lot.
Rapid succession. It's like boom, 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 boom.
As soon as I finish answering, next question.
Yeah. So, but we've heard of it does vary. It's very subjective, but the requirements are the same.
Yeah.
And they still do look at things like in the Philippines. What they'll do is they have stations. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but they have a station. When you work to the first station and they say, okay, let me have your package. You give them the package, and then they go through it, and it's got how much money the U.S. petitioner makes. Do they have evidence of that? They have the tax forms. Where do they work? Boom. And then they send it to the next station, and the final station is like the interview, and the interview is like a compilation of everything. They say, okay, this person's approved it in that station. This person approved it. Now I've got a couple of other questions for you. So it's still pretty thorough. It's just they do it differently in the Philippines, and I don't know if they do it different.
And also that's why you gotta have a conversation with your fiance about about kids, finances, because
divorces.
They ask about it, and divorces.
Yep. Criminal records, if there's any criminal records. Like, you should really be upfront with your foreign fiance about that, because we've heard of them walking into the interview, and then they start asking about, well, did you know that your future husband has a criminal past? Did you know that they assaulted somebody? They assaulted their ex-wife allegedly, and they were convicted of it. They're asked those questions, and sometimes the foreign fiance doesn't even know that happened. You should never let your spouse go into that situation. Like, you should talk to them about what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was one lady, she was asking me a bunch of questions, and her fiance had a domestic violence record from long ago, because here in America, even if couple have fights, then they're like, don't hurt my baby. Even if it didn't happen.
That's an inside joke. We were in an apartment.
Calling 911. Oh my gosh,
happened.
my husband just yelled at me or slapped me, and it didn't happen. Stuff like that. So it's like that stayed in his record, and so he explained to his fiance what happened. So his fiance had like an interview and was brought to a private room where there's nobody hearing their conversation, which doesn't happen normally. And so the interview was in a different room. So yeah, she was asked to explain, do you know about the domestic violence? Can you explain to me what happened?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the guy just happened to be there, which is rare too. But
so your fiance will be your attorney in front of them.
We've got a few other questions here. We got a lot of questions actually. We only have 10 minutes. We're gonna shut this down in 10 minutes, guys. But let's see. We got Tim Morgan. Hey, how you doing, Timmy? He says on Facebook, I have custody of my child, and okay, let me see more here. I have custody of my child. It's just her and I. I filed head of household and my child with a child, but no dependent, but not as a dependent. I let my ex use her on her taxes because we split the returns. My tax accountant said it's safe because it's on the tax forms that it says I have our child. Is this safe? My tax accountant said it's safe because it's on the tax forms that I have our child. Is it safe? So I'm trying to understand your question. You're saying are you're claiming the child, or is your spouse claiming the child? And this is Timmy, this is just going to be my opinion, by the way. I'm not, and by no means an authorized expert on this stuff. I'm just telling you, like, my culmination of my opinions is our experience plus stuff people have told us when they went through the whole process and either made it or didn't make it.
Let me look for the interview questions. But it's rare. It's rare to have it's not that common actually, but once like you get the consular officer that's
what are you looking for?
Asking back-to-back questions, then it's better to be ready. Because
yes, she claimed our child.
It's pretty loud inside the U.S. Embassy.
Are you answering Timmy's question, or
I'm just talking to them here? Because somebody's asking about the interview questions. So I'm gonna send a link. Yeah, it's hard to concentrate there. So before as you remember, I had a thick accent. I wasn't that good yet.
My fiance sent me a screenshot of a whole bunch of different questions and asked me to fill it out. And I sent it to her, like my birthplace, how many kids do I have, their names, their ages,
That's how you
what do I do for a living, my occupation, all that stuff, so that she can start studying that.
So Timmy, while they're doing that, to answer your question, and I see your response there, yes, she claimed our child. Resume. Okay, hopefully it's still going. Okay, it's still going. All right, so what I would do is, I think that you can definitely do that because here's why. All right, here's why I would do it just like you're doing it, which is to not claim the child on my household size because you can prove it on your taxes. For me, it's pretty clear. I've got 2 kids myself. I'm the sole person taking care of the kids financially. So for me personally, like, there's no way that I could get around me saying that, oh, it's the household size, just me and my wife, because I take care of everything, and there's no way I could prove otherwise. That being said, if it was different, if the situation was different where my spouse made X amount of dollars and claimed the kid on the taxes and all of that, and I could prove financially that it's being taken care of elsewhere, then I might have done this a different way. So yeah, if I were you, that could be that. I think that will work just fine. That's just my opinion, Timmy. What I would do is I would say, okay, my household size is me and my fiance, and but what I'm thinking about though is that when your foreign fiance goes to the interview, they may ask, where's the child going to live? Yeah. And so that might be something to consider. Like they're going to say, okay, where's your child living? And if you say the child lives with me, what percentage of the time? 50% of the time, 100% of the time, that could count against you. But if they're going by specifically by taxes, so I don't really know which way to go with that one. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I gotta say I'm not sure. So for those of you guys that know, on Facebook, Timmy asked, his question was, and maybe you guys can answer this. On his taxes, he doesn't claim his daughter, but his daughter does live with him. So he's asking, like, can I, and correct me if I'm wrong, Timmy, you're asking, should he have that as part of his household size or not? How are they going to count the household size? That's the question. Are they going to count the daughter that lives with him but was claimed on the other taxes as part of the household or not? So that I'm really not sure. But if you guys can chime in, it seems to me it can kind of go either way. But maybe it also depends on how much the ex-wife makes. So
how come the link is broken?
Okay, let me see. We got a few other questions. If you could tell me what you're trying to do, I can help you.
I was just trying to copy paste the interview questions.
Okay.
But it says it's not available.
Okay, you were just on the site.
Yeah, I was on the third tab. Yeah,
that's
and I
it right there.
copy pasted that.
So you're testing it here?
Hey, Yuri?
Yeah.
I had another question about the interview. There was something posted in one of the groups that as far as one of the people who went to their interview didn't get approved because I don't know what all the circumstances surrounded that case, but they said because they started a relationship a few months before they were actually divorced from their current is that going to cause a problem?
No, it's not.
Wait, what was the question?
You mean when they filed, the person was still married?
No, like, for instance, me and my fiance, we started our relationship in January 2017. Well, I was still currently married at the time, but my marriage was over. And so I actually didn't, the documents show that I actually didn't file, my divorce wasn't final until May 30th. So with her going into the interview, would that make them say, oh, well, you started a relationship while he was still married, and then they're just going to say, no, we're not going to approve you?
I got this one.
No.
I got this one. So that's exactly what happened in our situation. So, you know how it is here with divorce. Like it just like the marriage can be done before the actual papers are, and how, regardless of how you guys feel about it, that's just how it is. So, we're here. Yuri's here, and I did the exact same thing you just said. But here's the thing. I made sure that I had my divorce papers. The date of the divorce papers was before I filed the I-129F. So, and I was able to establish that we had a relationship. There was no question about whether or not we had a relationship before that or any of that. None of that stuff came up. So I don't know how that they get away with like denying somebody unless they made a mistake and put the divorce decree date after they filed the document. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if they filed on
and
April,
they're still married.
yeah,
at that time.
If you filed on April 15th, but the divorce is on the 16th, then you're not legally able to do it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah. As for marriage situations, I mean, that's none of their business. As long as during your application you were clean, you're already divorced.
Yeah, that's the
what
requirement.
they need.
Yeah, that's the requirement. Yeah, so, and for those of you on Facebook, what Steve just asked was about having a divorce and the relationship between the actual divorce decree and when you actually file the I-129F document. And he said that somebody was actually denied because supposedly they had a relationship while the guy was married, and then they filed the paperwork. But I think what can they really say? Like, if you've done everything legally and all the requirements are met, you can prove that you had a real relationship. You have all the divorce decrees, and it's before you filed the I-129F, you've met all the requirements.
The only way that they get denied is that the guy was still married.
That happens.
That happens.
Yes.
Because they don't think that USCIS will catch them not doing their divorce during their filing.
I'm so shocked how many times that's happened.
Yeah.
That people have told us. That the person is still married, legally married. But they usually tell you... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Steve.
I'm sorry. Something to add to that. That's one of the reasons why I was curious about that. And the agency said I shouldn't have anything to worry about. No. I am technically legally married still in the Philippines, but not here in the United States. So because the Philippines doesn't believe in divorce, I couldn't, unless I wanted to pay a very large amount of money to get that divorce over there in the Philippines. I'm technically still married there, but of course I am divorced here in the United States.
Since it goes by the law, this is a really good one.
So since it goes by the Philippines honor divorce from another country.
There you go, boom.
So bam.
Yes. So I've heard that many times before. Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
Would I be able to get married again in the Philippines?
Why don't you just get married here so you don't have that problem,
No, I plan on doing that, but, for the sake of her family and stuff, because that's just one thing that she wanted to do.
Well,
would I be able to have a ceremony there?
Yeah, you can do is maybe report first your divorce to Philippine consulate. That way, your record in the Philippines will be eliminated.
Because he can take his divorce papers from the U.S., take them to the Philippines government, and they'll honor
not the government, like Philippine consulate here in the United States.
Okay, and then they'll honor the divorce.
Okay, here. That's in Dallas.
Yeah, that's what you can do to report.
That's a great question, Steve. Wow. That might be the title. That could be like the clickbait title that we put in there. All right, it's 7 o'clock. We should probably close it down. All right, I see a lot more questions, guys, and I apologize for not being able to address these. But we've got to shut it down. We've got some stuff to do. But that being said, I want to thank Geography, Instigator, T, Brooklyn, Dan the Driving Land.
You cannot get married with her in the Philippines because you are still married.
But we just said you can get a divorce.
Yeah, with the Philippine, I read that before, in Philippine consulate here, because even if you have a stable relationship,
I guess we're staying on.
You need to know what you're gonna do to report, to clear your name in the future. So just go to the Philippine consulate to clear your previous marriage.
Keep going, baby.
Okay, that's it, guys.
Are you sure?
Yes, that's it.
I'm gonna do some more research on that, Steve. I'm very curious about what you just said, so we'll follow up on that one. I'm really curious about that because it looks like we have a little dissension in the ranks here. Anyway, okay, so guys, thank you so much. Thanks to HT for helping us out, moderating, getting rid of all the trolls. Guys on Girls TV, what's going on? We're about to wrap this thing up. Thanks for visiting us, though. And all you other YouTubers out there,
March,
appreciate it.
Answer is yes, you're beyond the poverty guideline because there's only 2 people
and we're
for
still
44K.
Going.
Thumbs up, guys, and subscribe in our YouTube channel. Do you have
special thanks to
Facebook?
Steve? Thank you so much. Yeah, I do. Thanks, okay. Steve, for participating, for asking questions. It really helps everyone in our community.
Yeah.
Special thanks to T. Elliott, Instigator, Jamal Waring, Eric Sadler, Kingpin, Amelia A., Daryl Charity, Sci-Fi George, Tim H., Mike Angelo, David Thomas, Benjamin K., Arch Place, Jay Barnes, Linus World, William
Thanks,
G.,
everyone.
Cordell 10, Legs Diamond, Eye on You News, IQ Patch, Amoris Del Caribe, Paul W., and Lucas
And they said, is polygamy accepted in the Philippines?
Geography.
No, but you
Thank
can
you
have
guys
mistresses.
so much. We're not
Thumbs
answering
up,
no more
guys.
questions. We're done. Yuri, please, for the love of God, stop asking questions. See you later, Facebook.
Okay.
Thank you guys
Steve.
for your time.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. See you later.
Take care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that before. You can actually report it in the U.S. Embassy. I mean, in the Philippine consulate.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, I've heard of it before, actually.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
I was reading on it because I'm like, well, what if in the future me and Bruce gets divorced? But I mean, it's not.
Did you guys
happening.
hear that? We're live, guys.
Are
We're
we
live.
still live?
She just aired our grievances.
Gosh!
And we're getting a divorce, guys.
I love you, baby. No, we're not getting a divorce.
Did you hear that? You heard it here first. See? You get exclusive news on Yuri Bruce.
Andy, you can have a mistress, but you won't be able to keep your great Filipina.
Or your penis.
Or your penis. Yes! Beware, because some Filipinas
They got knives, baby. They got
scary.
knives and scissors. And that being said, we're out of here.
That's actually a thing, to cut somebody's penis.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's horrible. Why would you do that? You might need that thing for later.
Are we still live?
We're still live.
Oh my gosh!
And you keep talking. Why do you keep doing this? Why? Andy said later. Okay, we're out
Adultery is illegal in the Philippines, but not enforced much. What's adultery?
Adultery means cheating.
You
know how many people cheat?
You know what? That's the reason why I didn't marry a Filipino, because it's so.
Do you really want to say that?
So
We're still live.
It's so tough. I mean, okay. This is just between us, guys. Keep it.
Between us and our other 12,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Saying
I need to delete this.